This is a 2016 Victory Cross Country. What I'm going to do today is replace the brake reservoir, the stock reservoir here, with a Arlen Ness beveled brake reservoir. The first thing we need to do is remove this bolt right here for the reservoir. It's a 10 millimeter bolt, and we'll get to that here in a second. All right, so the first thing we have to do is remove this 10 millimeter bolt. And on the back, there is a nut that needs to come off also. So just unscrew it. It's a little difficult to get to. Kind of hard to get in with a floorboard in a way, so I had to use a flexible extension. I tried to use it with just the socket close up. You could do that, but this appeared to be the best way for me at this point. Okay. Okay, so the bolt, screw out of the way. The next thing we need to do is this, there's a clamp here that goes onto the hose, and we need to pinch that together and move the hose clamp back and pull the reservoir out. Now, the reservoir has fluid in it currently, so we need to be careful that we don't spill the fluid out of here all over to the painted surface. As you know, brake fluid is very caustic. So before I'll go any further, I'll loosen the clamp up a little bit, and then I'll put rags and protect that at the painted finish. Okay, so now we're going to work on this clamp here. We've got a pair of needle nose pliers, and all you do is just squeeze this clamp together like this, and you just try to move it down. It takes a little bit of work. It's coming down. Try not to get in the way of the camera so you can see okay. Okay, so that is down. So before I go any further, I'm going to put paper towels and rag or whatever I need to right here to protect this. As you see, there's still fluid in here. I guess actually you probably could have, if you had a turkey baster or something, you could have taken the lid off and sucked this out. And I'll also put on some kind of gloves too, just so my hands don't get tore up from the fluid. So now we've got the clamp moved back. I've got rags all around. I've got a something to catch the fluid if it comes out here. There's another thing you can do too. You can put a line lock type pliers on there if you want, but I don't think that's going to be necessary at this point. So let's get to work. So just twist it a little bit back and forth. Pull it out. As you can see, it's starting to come out now. Okay, just be careful. Okay, and that's out. So that's all there is to that. Now you take a new one, just do it reverse. Stick it back on like that. Slid right on very easily. And I'm just pinching it together with my fingers at this point to slide it up. Squeeze it in together and it's back up. It's that simple, just to put it in just like that. Okay, now after this, just need to put the bolt back in. So when I put this back on, it's supposed to be a direct replacement part, but this hose is just a hair too long, and I'm not sure if I should cut it to try to make it fit. So what I'm going to do instead, I pulled this clamp, loosened it up, pushed the hose further back onto this elbow, and then over here, there's a nipple here, there's two holes. So the nipple goes on there, and then the bolt will go on. There is a slight crink, but I think once pressure's on there, I think it'll be fine. we'll have to test it out when we're done to make sure, because you're still going to have to bleed the brakes. So all we have to do now is just reverse back the way we were, bolt through, and put the nut on. So this, I cut the film so I could get this nut started to save some time. It is a pain in the neck to get this nut going, but I finally got it. I got my wrench on the back. And so what I'm doing is just tighten it down. There's no reason to over tighten it, just tighten it fairly good. It's just a little bit of an angle. So you see that's in there pretty good. And I'm looking at the elbow here. It doesn't look like there's no pressure on it, so it's still, everything looks fine there. So this will unscrew. Just like that. These usually have rubber cups that go inside. I don't see that here on this one to make a nice seal, but the way the metal felt, it actually felt pretty good.
Move your arm.
Nice and tight. So I'll try to put fluid in it, and we'll work on bleeding the brakes once I get the fluid in it. All right, so everything is tightened up. Looks good. I'm ready to put the brake fluid in. Victory takes .4 brake fluid, so just want to be careful, put it in. There's no sight glass on this particular one, so I'm going to put it in enough that it's fairly full, because when we bleed it, we're going to need to have that full anyway. Then we'll check that. Want to make sure that this is always as fluid in it. Don't want to let it run dry. Okay, so I put the lid back on. It's a nice tight fit there, so that's good. So we'll be good with that. So the next part, all we have to do is bleed the brakes, and that'll be coming up here in a second. To bleed the brakes, I'm going to try this Harbor Freight brake bleeder. I've seen a couple of reviews on YouTube, and it seemed to work okay, so this will be the first time I've used it. We'll open it up and try it out and see how it goes. And if you need the item number, put my old man glasses on so I can see, it's 69328, and it's Harbor Freight. Okay, so I've read the instructions on how to use this. It looks pretty simple. It comes with 23-inch piece of hose, so you put one end on the gun, the other end on the cup. The only thing with the cup, you just need to make sure that the gun side, or whatever you want to call this side, does not have where this hose comes down. There's a little O-ring on here, just make sure that that's sealed properly. So it just puts in like that, and you can feel it, it's nice and tight. And then the other side, you just put the other end of the hose. Now it comes with a bunch of adapters, and you just have to determine which size will fit your bleeder valve. So this is actually going to go on the bleeder valve on the motorcycle, and it makes a nice snug fit. On this gun on the bottom, there's a little button here that you can push to release the pressure once it builds up. One here has a gauge. According to the instructions, it says don't go over 20 pounds of pressure, and it says anywhere from 10 to 20, but 20 could supposedly damage the brake system. I don't know how, but so it suggests not to do that. So what we'll do, we'll take it over to the bike and try it and see how it works. For the camera, so you can see better, I took the saddlebag off. Even if the camera wasn't here, it would probably make it easier so you can see. One of the people on YouTube actually took the whole exhaust off to make it so you could see easier. But that's definitely not necessary at this point. So we've got the the bleeder ready to go, and I'm using an 8 millimeter wrench to go onto the bleeder valve. So I'm going to put that on there like that. I'm going to try to get it up to about 10. It says anywhere from 10 to 15 pumps will take it, so let's see how this works, see if we're making a good... So far the meter's not doing anything. Just keep going here till... I guess it would help if I pulled this out. There we go, we're getting a full throw now. Still, the meter's not moving yet. It's not moving yet. Just trying to check, see if there's any leaks anywhere that I can just see. Well, there was a little problem with this pump. In the cup itself, there's an O-ring that goes into the lid, and it's not a very good O-ring. So what I had to do, there was excess plastic and it wasn't making a good seal. So I tried to pull that back a little bit, and I used what this stuff's called magic lube, or you could use Vaseline. This just happened, I just happened to have it on hand and it worked fine. Also wanted to mention, there's a packing ring that comes in here. It's they ship it in here, and it comes in here, so you can't get a full throw. This has to come out. It's just shipping, so it doesn't package, so it doesn't move in packaging and shipping. So now what I've done, I've got the correct nipple size for this that goes on to the bleeder valve. I've got a 8 millimeter wrench, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get it down, give me some room there. So I've got it all the way down. Remember, our master cylinder, rear master reservoir is full. I'm going to put this nipple on there the best that I can. And it doesn't make the greatest seal. I tried to test it, but I think it'll be fine once we get going here. And again, remember, it's not supposed to go over 20. The gauge 20 is way over here. They said at least 10, but no more than 20. Apparently it could damage something. So what we're going to try to do is pump it up and get a vacuum going. It says about 10 or 15 times. There it goes. It's starting to come up. I'm going to do it at 15. We're at 15. And it's holding fairly well. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. We're going to crack the bleeder. See if I got enough room there. Bring it up. I don't really have enough room. I'll have to reposition my bleeder, but the fluid's starting to come out. You're not supposed to have to keep pumping it, but it seems to be doing the trick. So we're getting the air out. So okay, now, so I have it coming out. It's at 15, it's coming down to 10. It's still coming out, it's doing good. I can see the air coming out. And when it gets low enough, what I'll do is close the bleeder again, check the master cylinder reservoir to make sure that there's no air in there. So we're down to probably about 3 pounds, so I'm going to go ahead and close the bleeder valve. Okay, it's off at that point. As you can see, some fluid came out. This doesn't really sit anywhere really well. So we're going to go over and check the master cylinder. Okay, so I'm over looking at the master cylinder. Actually, it wasn't too bad. There's went down some, so we just want to keep it full. We could have went more over there. I didn't know how much. I'm left-handed, so it's kind of hard. I'm in the way no matter where I am here. So I'm going to put the lid back on. Then we go back over, try it again. That's nice and tight. So I used the Harbor Freight machine bleeder thing. It did most of the job okay. I would say not use it. So I finally finished up just doing it the old-fashioned way by putting the hose on it, putting it in, make sure there's fluid in there, putting that on the bleeder valve, having another person help by pumping the brakes, and just doing it the old-fashioned way. That seemed to work fine, and it's really fairly simple. So the brakes are back to normal. Everything looks good. My recommendation on the Harbor Freight thing, don't even fool with it. It's just, to me, it didn't seem like it was worth the hassle of doing. Maybe other people have had better luck with it. I didn't. So everything is good. So I have the fluid here done. Just need to clean up everything. What made it fairly easy to do this and get to it was this Harbor Freight lift. And probably pan out a little bit, you can see it. You can catch these things on sale. I got a coupon and it was $299 at Harbor Freight. It does a great job. The front wheel, I changed it comes with a squeeze vise, what it normally comes with, but I happen to have this condor that I wasn't using. Well, actually I do use it for my trailer, but I have two sets. I can switch it back and forth, two sets of mounts. So I just drilled a couple extra holes in there and put it in there. And it seems to do fairly well. This is a very heavy bike, so as you can see, it wants to move a little bit, but not too bad. I have it just strapped down on one side, and it seems to do the job. But the lift makes things so much easier. And I've seen people do it on the ground. I can't get on the ground like I used to do that anymore. But that's it. If you have any questions about it, and I'll keep you updated if I have any questions about the bend that we had originally when we started in the pipe, the round pipe. It seems like it's a good seal here. I don't have any leaks at all, and it appears to be working okay, but it's not as straight as the original. But I think it looks pretty good. It's the beveled from Arlen Ness, and it seems like it did an okay job. It took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it wasn't a bad job.